The president addresses Congress on his controversial first days in office and the impact of his moves on your wallet.
But first, severe weather has hit Texas, leaving damaged property and families without power.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV Nightly News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us on ntTV Nightly News. I'm Melanie Garcia.
And I'm Jackson Garrett Spring. North Texas experienced some severe weather early this morning, causing widespread damage, including an F1 tornado that touched down in Irving just before 5:30. According to the Weather Service, the tornado stayed on the ground for about half a mile with peak wind speeds of 110 miles per hour. While on the ground, the tornado slammed into an apartment complex in Irving, which we have more on in just a moment. Tomorrow, investigators will check up into other reports of high wind damage to see if any other tornadoes hit our area.
There is no question it was a fast-moving storm, and it definitely left a lot of rain and strong winds here in Denton. Our weather anchor, Justin Walters, joins us now with more on what to expect tonight and tomorrow. Justin?
Thank you, Melanie. And here in Denton, we did not escape the severe weather either. We had a severe thunderstorm warning this morning, and we, of course, had those high winds, which we're still having right now as we speak, in fact. Let's look at the current conditions. 61 is the current temperature. It feels like 56 degrees. And look at that wind speed, 22 miles per hour. When I got the weather conditions, the wind gust was as high as 47 miles per hour. So it is not your typical wind advisory kind of day. So tonight, luckily, the winds are going to die off, and also that haze is going to leave us starting around 8 o'clock. It'll be 41 for the low. It'll still feel like 32 though, and the winds will be around 30 miles per hour. They'll die down to 20, but those gusts are still going to be 30 to 35 miles per hour. And tomorrow, 60 is going to be the temperature. It's going to feel like 56, and those wind speeds are going to stay the same, 20 miles per hour, gusts around 30. So whatever you do, pack a jacket, do what you need to do to make sure that you are protected from this wind. Now, let's go to my colleague, Maddie Holston. She has more on the damage from this morning's storms and a look at the damage it caused in other parts of Texas. Maddie.
Thanks, Justin. The weather has definitely cleared up since last night and this morning, but has left damage in its wake. That tornado left over 350 people displaced in Irving after 2 apartment buildings had walls collapse, windows break, and power lines fall. No one was injured, and the residents are at a city shelter until authorities clear the buildings. That severe weather caused over 200,000 people to completely lose power in the state, and there's still 8,000 Texas residents suffering without it. Many of the power outages lie within the northeast region of the state and are concentrated in the DFW and surrounding areas. Those without power are advised to stay put while Encore and city crews are working to restore power and clear the streets. In addition to the issues lingering across Texas, the east was no exception when it comes to weather. The thunderstorms caused severe flooding and tornado winds maximized the damage. One town got the brunt of it. In Pittsburgh, Texas, trailer owners caught camping at the marina were trapped after the drastic winds brought down large trees. The quick winds tipped trailers over and scattered debris all throughout the area. The scene was cleared by noon. First responders are working hard to clear this mess and get people the help that they need. As spring break rolls around, hopefully the weather agrees or gives some time to fix this damage. That's all I have. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Maddie. The other big story coming out of Washington. President Trump is preparing to address a joint session of Congress for the first time since taking back office in January. Trump is expected to talk about what he considers his major accomplishments so far, including thousands of government layoffs, cuts to international and food and medicine, and meetings with several foreign leaders. Trump believes he has a mandate from voters, but needs all Republican votes in House and Senate to make that a reality. There is some growing pushback from Americans who are worried his policies are putting the country on the wrong path.
One of the most controversial moves by the president has been ordering massive tariffs on products coming in from key trading partners. Canada, Mexico, and China. CNN's Jen Sullivan has more on the impact these will have on your wallet.
Americans are starting to see a new economic reality under President Donald Trump. Take tariffs, for instance, with Trump confirming yesterday he still plans to impose 25% duties on Mexican and Canadian imports. Tariffs on Chinese goods are in place now, and Trump says reciprocal ones are in the works.
It is a drive to bring back manufacturing, to protect our great jobs here.
Economists say tariffs support domestic producers by making U.S. businesses pay extra for imports. In light of new ones, Apple and Eli Lilly say they're investing billions of dollars in U.S. manufacturing. On the other hand, recent surveys show tariffs are causing concern about inflation.
Consumers are telling us that they are getting a bit more worried about the future.
Republican efforts to lower the deficit are making waves too.
And the new reality is less government, more efficiency, better return for the taxpayers.
Part of that is a new House resolution that calls for massive and controversial spending cuts. It also contains sweeping tax breaks that aren't sitting well with some fiscal hawks.
The deficit's going to go up.
Large-scale layoffs of federal workers are another part of the plan to reduce spending. Some analysts worry they could backfire.
Are literally some of the firings just in the federal government, which has 10 million workers, is that going to be enough to cause a recession?
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
As people continue to catch the measles in Texas, the illness pops up in more states.
And Mexico sues U.S. gun companies, saying Americans' guns are getting into the hands of the cartel members.
And it's all fun and games here at the Union Fest Arcade. We'll tell you more about it after the break.
Measles cases in Texas are still on the rise, growing from 146 to 159 within the past week. In addition to the 22 hospitalizations, Texas saw the first death in the outbreak, the first measles death in the U.S. since 2015, and the first child death since 2003. Many of these cases are concentrated in Gainesville, Texas, home to a largely unvaccinated population. The Center for Disease Control is already on site providing emergency response services to control and contain health threats. But the outbreak is proving difficult to contain as New York reports 2 cases and New Jersey confirms a 3rd case. U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy has described possible government intervention, but does not want to push for vaccination, stating, "We want to make sure we are there to help them with their needs and not particularly dictate what they ought to be doing."
Following the recent announcement of tariffs being placed on Mexico and Canada, Mexico has decided to file a lawsuit against the U.S. over firearms. Our segment anchor Jackson Berry has more. Jackson?
Thank you, Melanie. The Supreme Court seemed likely to block a $10 billion lawsuit Mexico filed against the top U.S. firearm manufacturers, alleging that the companies have been fueling cartel gun violence. Mexico has incredibly strict gun laws, having only one store where people can legally buy firearms, and the Mexican government claims that over 70% of those weapons come from the U.S. Originally, a federal judge tossed out the lawsuit under a 2005 law that protects gun companies from most civil lawsuits, but an appeals court revived it. Gun rights groups, including the National Rifle Association, have slammed the lawsuit, stating that it is an effort to destroy the U.S. gun industry by making it easier to sue for huge sums. However, an attorney from Mexico stressed that the case was over economic harm linked to gun violence and that the case was still in its early stages and should be allowed to continue. The Supreme Court's official ruling is expected to come out by late June, and the outcome of that decision could have a huge effect on American lives. That's all I've got for you guys right now. Back to you guys at the desk.
A shadow is looming over the southwest, making it much harder to see. A giant and fast-moving dust storm known as Haboob is sweeping across large parts of Texas, New Mexico, and Mexico. The storm has shut down 2 interstates and 1 highway due to safety concerns, but some motorists have already been stranded. These storms can go on for hours and make debris walls as high as 5,000 feet.
Well, Jackson, I sure did see a lot of dust outside today, and I'm pretty sure some of it blew into my eyes.
Tell me about it, Mel. Hopefully no one planned on having a good hair day, but luckily our weather anchor Justin Walters is. He's here more to tell us about it. Justin?
And yeah, I've been seeing some dust too. On my way here, I saw over on these skies, I believe it was the northern skies, I could be wrong. It was just nothing but brown dust. So to see that haze, that's what we've been seeing all day. Now, in terms of right now, we got temperatures across North Texas here ranging from the mid-60s, Sulphur Springs, Paris 65 degrees, and then 68 in McKinney, near 70. This is kind of the warm spot in the metro. Of course, 61 in Denton, but as you get further west, upper 50s, 57 in Decatur, 59 in Bowie, 57 in Graham. It feels fine, but without the winds, of course. And across the state, it's kind of a non-monotonous situation. El Paso 63, this is where the dust is coming from West Texas, by the way. 50 in Amarillo, getting closer to warmer temperatures as you move further east, of course. 75 in Austin, 79 in Houston. It is absolutely feeling great out there, and I'm hoping they're not having to deal with it as badly as we are in terms of the wind, the dust, and the fire danger. We'll get to the fire danger in a moment, but first, let's look at the 7-day forecast here. Today and tomorrow, no rain chances, luckily, but those winds are still going to stay put. And with that humidity, it's going to be bringing some stuff that we'll talk about in a moment here. So 60 and 65 are going to be the high, 75 on Friday before we have yet another cold front move in. As you can see, those rain chances are increasing. 50%, only up to 52 Saturday. Look at that low, 38. But Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, the start of spring break, 60s and 70s with no rain chances. Now, as I mentioned a minute ago, we have some fire danger, and despite all the rain that we've had, Denton and surrounding areas are facing an elevated risk of fire danger. According to the National Weather Service, it'll last from tomorrow till Friday, and it's because of those heavy winds that are reaching around 30 miles per hour and that low humidity, which was caused by this morning's cold front as it passed. Now, all this is drying out the land, and it's causing these kinds of conditions. Now, that's it for weather tonight, and we're going to hand it back over to the anchor desk.
Thanks, Justin. Man, during these stormy days, I sure do love to play my Xbox, but I do miss going to arcades.
Well, Jackson, you actually might be in luck because there's actually an arcade currently on campus. Our live shot reporter, Evanson Franklove, has more information at the Union. Evanson?
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't see you there because I was too busy reliving my childhood playing Pac-Man. Video games may run this generation, but the time for arcades to go away is not right now. At this very moment, Union Fest is hosting an arcade room. This Union Fest event will be held until 8 p.m. tonight at Jade Room 333. Now, I just lost in Pac-Man, so my challenge is up for right now. I may hate losing, but that's okay because I'm very excited for other Union Fest activities like sun print burning. like sun printing. My colleague Kendall Keaton has more information with me here at the Union.
Thanks, Everson. That's right. The Union is celebrating this year with this big annual FETS event. There are many events happening throughout the Union, and some even last all day. Today, students got the opportunity to make fun sun prints. I'm here with Nancy. She works in the Union Arts Center, room 214, and she's going to give us a little bit of insight on the event and what events are happening throughout the week.
Yeah, so today we're doing sun prints. They're called cyanotypes. We're doing chemically treated fabrics, and then we'll process them for you guys, and then y'all get to make your own prints. If y'all can't make it today, tomorrow we're doing shrinky-dink jewelry, and Thursday we'll be doing Minecraft block flowers, and then on Friday we'll be doing jumbo cards that you can collage and paint on.
Thank you, Nancy. So there you have it. If you can't make it, don't worry. Like Nancy said, there are plenty other events happening throughout the week, but that's all I have for you guys. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kendall. Now, Jackson, I don't know if you've ever stayed in a bed and breakfast before, but it kind of reminds me of the Gilmore Girls, and I'm all in for it.
I've not, Melanie, but I've heard there is a bed and breakfast here in Denton that has quite the rich history behind it. Gabriella, our segment anchor, Gabriella LeBlanc, has more on the story.
That's right, Jackson. This old Victorian-style house, known as the Brownell House, was purchased and restored by a young couple who turned the house into a bed and breakfast.
So a bed and breakfast is like a boutique hotel where when guests stay the night, they get to have breakfast here the next morning.
After hearing what is a bed and breakfast, let's hear from one of the owners, Whitney May, about what makes the Brownell House so special.
So the Brownell House was built in 1912, and it's a historic landmark. In 1990, it was actually tagged to be torn down by the city, but the Morris family purchased it and brought it back to life. And the reason we called it the Brownlow House is because the Brownlow family are the ones who originally built the house.
The Brownlow House is a special place to make memories. Not only is it the perfect backyard wedding, but an enjoyable night for a little getaway.
We have a really busy spring. We have quite a few weddings and whole house bookings that are coming up in April and May.
7 years ago, the family was looking to find a flexible and positive environment. Whitney May wanted to make the Brownell House even more than a bread and breakfast house by getting her mom, an interior designer, to help decorate it and incorporate family meaning along the way. Because of the place that changed their lives forever, they are willing to share their event space with the community. The Brownell House is located at 815 North Locust Street and is open for booking. That's all I have for you. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Gabriella. Man's best friend is looking for his forever home, and that might be with you. Learn about how you can find your next furry friend here in Denton.
And a zoo welcomes one big baby. Check out the new Mom and Baby up ahead.
You can almost be tricked into thinking that there's a happy ending here. I think that's so powerful. It's a true story of Ruth Snyder. There's some kind of liberties in the story. The young woman is definitely more of a sympathetic character than the original Ruth Snyder.
I would say that it is a story about a woman breaking out of the box she has been put in by society.
It is a story about societal pressures, and it's also a story about love and what drives somebody to sometimes do things that may seem awful.
I really like the soundscapes. I think that they add a nice layer to the show.
Be prepared for an incredibly immersive, anxiety-ridden experience.
How she sees the world and the way that she sees these different faces all the time. This is like how the machine rolls.
Jackson, lately I've been feeling like something has been missing. Have you?
No, not really, but maybe it's not something that's missing, but someone. ntTV's reporter Riley Oldenburg has more on how you can find that missing piece. Riley?
Thanks, guys. Denton is full of furry friends in need of a home, and you just might be their perfect match. We're here at Denton Animal Services, where you can adopt the perfect addition to your family. Denton Animal Services, located off of Elm Street, is dedicated to finding every furry friend a loving home.
And she is growing and really healthy. She had a cold, and we were able to contact and get medication for her, and it was a really easy process.
The Linda McNatt Animal Care and Adoption Center opened in February of 2015 and was funded by the Denton Animal Support Foundation and the City of Denton. Jim McNatt donated $500,000 to name the shelter after his wife, Linda McNatt, in order to honor her dedication to animal rescue.
Denton Animal Services is different from other shelters because of how interactive we are with our other animals.
Denton Animal Services is currently offering a discounted adoption fee of $30 for long-term residents. Meet Rico, a long-term resident in need of a home.
He's been coming in and out of the shelter since last year, the very beginning of last year, so January, I believe, 16th of 2024, and he has been having recurring impoundments because he's been an escape artist out of his previous owner's household, and this last time in November 1st of 2024 was the very last time that they decided that they just weren't going to pick him up.
Rico is loving, good with other dogs and cats, and is potty trained. During the month of February, Denton Animal Services offered free adoptions for dogs 7 months or older and continues to offer ways to save money.
Our experience has been really great. We bring her here to get her booster shots.
Can't adopt or foster but still want to help? You can volunteer or donate through the City of Denton website. Bring a valid form of ID, complete a meet and greet, fill out the adoption paperwork, and pay the fee, and you will be the official owner of your new best friend. That's all I have. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Riley. On the topic of furry friends, and the Sacramento Zoo welcomed a baby giraffe last Saturday. The new calf was on her feet within 2 hours and began nursing quickly after.
The health conditions of the pair will determine when the public can get their first look at the new mother and daughter. This new addition brings the zoo to a total of 5 Maasai giraffes.
Well, Jackson, it sounds like good news for the Sacramento Zoo, but I haven't heard any good news lately about the Dallas Mavericks.
Our team seems to be on a downward spiral ever since the departure of Luka Don and the recent news of injuries. Our sports anchor Gabby Pippins has more. Gabby?
Yeah, guys, unfortunately, things aren't looking too good for the Mavs right now. I'll have an update on them, a Hall of Fame coach stepping away from the camera, and how our Dallas Stars are doing right after this.
I wonder what's on the radio today. I don't know about this. This is not it.
Everything alternative, commercial free. 88.1 Indy.
Here at KNTU, we have 2 traditional stations, 88.1 Indy and KNTU Jazz. We've also recently launched an internet radio station called Mean Green Hits. If you want to hear more, you can check us out at MediaNorthTexas.com.
That was pretty good.
The Dallas Mavericks are 32-30 this season, and they faced a tough matchup against the Sacramento Kings last night at the American Airlines Center. The first quarter ended with the Kings barely ahead 27-24, thanks to, unfortunately, another Mavs injury. Kyrie Irving sprained his knee after landing awkwardly, and he had to be helped off the court. From there, the Kings dominated, ending the second quarter up 10, the third quarter up almost 30 points, and the game 122-98. Although the Mavs' new acquirer Kai Jones scored a career high of 21 points and 9 rebounds, 0 Mavs starters reached double digits, while every Kings starter did. Irving joined the long list of injured Mavs with a season-ending left ACL tear, and the Mavs now have to find a way to persevere as they visit the Bucks in Milwaukee tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And an NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame coach, Jimmy Johnson, announced he's retiring from Fox Sports. The 81-year-old led the Dallas Cowboys to 2 Super Bowl championships and the University of Miami Hurricanes to a college football national championship. He joined Fox Sports in April of 1994 as an analyst for the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, and he's held that role for 31 years. Johnson stated his role in the network was the most fun he's ever had in his career. Quote, "That's counting Super Bowls and national championships." And finally, the Dallas Stars are still going strong with a 39-19-2 record, placing second out of the whole Western Conference. They battled the St. Louis Blues Sunday night in the American Airlines Center in a very goal-heavy game. Dallas started things off with a bang, scoring a goal not even 2 minutes into the game, thanks to Mason Marchment. St. Louis answered with a goal, and from there, both teams exchanged the lead. With 1/10 of a second left in the first period, Wyatt Johnston squeezed a last-minute goal in to get the Stars up 3-2. Rupe Hentz opened the second period with a goal, and Wyatt Johnston got 2 more, including an insane hat trick for Stars win 6-3. Jake Ottinger also made a season high of 39 saves, tied for second in the NHL. That's all I've got for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Gabby. Since 1987, March has been deemed National Women's History Month. Almost every year since, brands have released campaigns in support and honor of female contributions. Since this year is no different, Mattel has announced the release of 8 new Barbies honoring women all over the world. The women featured included American Olympic gold medalist Jordan Chiles and Jade Carey, British actress Hannah Waddingham and Juno Temple, Australian tennis champions Yvonne Goolagong-Cawley and Ash Barty, Brazilian actress Paola Antoni, and the women she played, Keelan Ferreira. This goal was one of the launches to celebrate women's and how their goals bound uplifted it. It is the contribution of the dolls honoring Alicia Keys and honoring her recording engineer.
Say all those names 5 times fast. Thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow and noon, tomorrow evening at 6 here on North Texas Television.